Let's get weird into it. Number 9. The Funny Bone Zap. There are few experiences more universally agonizing than smacking your elbow on the corner of a table. One second you're a functioning human. The next you're a mess of writhing regret, trying to figure out why your entire arm, down to your pinky finger, has decided to host an electrical fireworks show of pure agony. The weirdest part is the name. Funny Bone. There is nothing funny about it. Not a single chuckle. It's the least humorous sensation a person can experience outside of filing their taxes. Here's the thing. Your body is lying to you. There is no funny bone. What you're actually hitting is your ulnar nerve, a long spaghetti-like cord of pure information that runs from your neck all the way down to your hand. For most of its journey, it's safely tucked away under muscle and fat, like a VIP in a motorcade. But at the elbow, it passes through a little channel called the cubital tunnel with almost no protection. It's basically lounging on the surface of your arm, sunbathing, completely exposed to the cruel, pointy world. When you whack that spot, you're not breaking a bone. You're compressing a major nerve directly against the bone it rests on, the humerus. This direct impact sends a chaotic jolt of pure static down the entire nerve line. Your brain, which usually receives neat, organized signals about touch and temperature, suddenly gets an entire orchestra of screaming nonsense. It interprets this chaos as a bizarre combination of pain, tingling, and numbness that radiates all the way to your fingers. It's not pain in your elbow, it's your entire arm's communication network being prank-called by a doorframe. So next time you hit it, remember you're not being funny. You're just ringing the doorbell on your arm's central nervous system and running away. Number 8. The side stitch of doom. It happens to the best of us. You've decided today is the day. You're going to be healthy. You put on your running shoes, you do a half-hearted stretch, and you set off on a light jog. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and then bam! A sharp stabbing pain erupts just below your ribcage, as if a tiny, angry gnome has taken up residence in your abdomen and is passionately trying to shiv you from the inside. This is the side stitch, or as scientists call it, exercise-related transient abdominal pain, because scientists are allergic to fun names. For years, nobody could definitively say what causes this traitorous pang. The leading theory, however, is that it's your diaphragm throwing a tantrum. Your diaphragm is a big sheet of muscle that helps you breathe. When you run, you start breathing harder and faster, while at the same time, your abdominal organs are bouncing up and down like they're at a rock concert. These organs are connected to the underside of your diaphragm by ligaments. So, as you jostle around, you're essentially playing a cruel game of tug-of-war with one of your most important respiratory muscles. The theory goes that this repeated yanking irritates the diaphragm or the parietal peritoneum, the membrane lining your abdominal cavity, causing it to spasm in protest. The pain is its way of screaming, "I was not consulted on this whole cardio thing, and I am lodging a formal, very pointy complaint." It's your body's emergency brake, designed not to prevent injury, but to prevent you from ever wanting to run again. Number 7. The eye's Morse code. You're sitting in a meeting, trying to look professional and engaged. You're nodding thoughtfully, maintaining eye contact, and then you feel it. A tiny persistent twitch in your eyelid. It's barely noticeable to anyone else, but to you, it feels like a tectonic event. Your eyelid is fluttering like a trapped moth, sending out a frantic, silent message in Morse code that you're pretty sure translates to, "I am unwell." You try to casually press on it, hoping to physically command the muscle to stop its nonsense, but it continues its tiny, infuriating dance. This delightful experience is called myokymia, and it's one of your body's most passive-aggressive alarms. That little muscle spasm is rarely a sign of anything serious. Instead, it's your nervous system's way of gently telling you that you are a mess. The most common culprits are stress, fatigue, and too much caffeine. Essentially, all the pillars of modern adult life. Think of your nerve endings as tiny, overworked office interns. You've been feeding them a steady diet of deadlines, late nights, and triple-shot espressos. Eventually, one of them is going to snap. The nerves that control your eyelid muscles are particularly delicate, so they're often the first to go on strike. They start firing off random involuntary signals, causing that little muscle to contract over and over. It's not a malfunction, it's a protest. It's your body holding up a tiny, twitching sign that says, maybe go to sleep or drink a glass of water? Just a thought. Number 6. Pins and needles. Everyone knows the feeling. You've been sitting cross-legged for too long, binge-watching a show, and when you finally stand up, your foot is gone. Not literally, of course, but it might as well be. It's a dead, useless stump attached to your ankle. Then, as you try to walk on it, the sensation begins. A slow, fizzy tingle that quickly escalates into an army of 1,000 tiny, angry needles, all stabbing you at once from the inside. It's a bizarre, almost comical pain as your limb slowly returns from the void. This sensation, known as paresthesia, is your nervous system rebooting. When you sit or lie in an awkward position, you can put pressure on a nerve, effectively pinching it like a garden hose. This cuts off the steady flow of information between that limb and your brain. Your brain sends out a "hey, you still there" signal and gets nothing back. That's the numbness. Your foot is offline. The pins and needles party starts when you relieve the pressure. The nerve hose is unkinked, and sensory information comes rushing back in a chaotic flood. The nerve endings, which were asleep at their posts, all wake up at once and start firing off signals wildly. It's a jumble of static, touch, pain, pressure, and temperature signals all hitting your brain simultaneously. Your brain, bless its heart, can't make sense of this garbled mess, so it just translates it as tingly and also ow. It's the feeling of your nervous system waking up with a hangover. Number 5. The brain freeze betrayal. It's a hot day. You're enjoying a slushie or a giant scoop of ice cream. You take a bite that's a little too ambitious, a little too eager, and then it hits you. A sudden, blinding headache that feels like someone has instantly flash froze your entire brainstem. The pain is intense, sharp, and mercifully brief. But for those few seconds, you question every decision that led you to this moment. You have been betrayed by dessert. This delightful phenomenon, officially named sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, try saying that 5 times fast, is a perfect example of your body's wires getting crossed. The roof of your mouth is packed with nerve endings, and when you rapidly cool it down with something icy, the blood vessels in the area constrict very quickly. This is an alarm bell for your brain. The trigeminal nerve, a major facial nerve responsible for sensation, detects this sudden temperature drop and sends a panic signal to headquarters. Here's where it gets weird. Your brain gets the extreme cold signal, but gets confused about its origin. The same trigeminal nerve also handles sensation in your face and forehead. So, your brain misinterprets the signal from your mouth as coming from your head. This is called referred pain. In response to the perceived crisis, your brain rapidly dilates the blood vessels in your forehead to try and warm the area up. This sudden rush of blood flow causes a spike in pressure inside your skull, which you experience as that sharp, stabbing headache. Basically, your brain thinks your forehead is freezing to death and tries to save it, accidentally causing you immense pain in the process. All because you couldn't enjoy your milkshake responsibly. Number 4. The leg day ghost. It's 3 in the morning. You are sound asleep, dreaming of puppies or flying or finally finding your car keys. Suddenly, you are ripped from your slumber by a pain so profound, so all-consuming, that your first thought is, this is it. This is how it ends. Your calf muscle has seized up, transforming from a soft, pliable part of your body into a rock-hard, knotted ball of pure evil. This is the Charlie horse, a nocturnal muscle cramp that feels like a ghost is trying to wring your leg out like a wet towel. A Charlie horse is essentially a muscle revolt. It's an involuntary and sustained contraction of a muscle that refuses to relax. While the exact cause can be a bit of a mystery, it's usually triggered by a cocktail of dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, not enough potassium or magnesium, and muscle fatigue. Maybe you went for a run earlier, or stood on your feet all day. Your muscle did its job, but you forgot to pay it back with adequate water and minerals. So, in the middle of the night, when your guard is down, the muscle decides to make its displeasure known. The nerve signals that tell the muscle to contract get stuck in an on loop. The muscle fibers clamp down and won't let go, cutting off their own blood supply, which only makes the cramp worse. It's a vicious, painful cycle. Your brain is screaming, relax, but the local management down in your calf has gone rogue and is refusing to listen. It's the biological equivalent of an employee staging a sit-in, except the sit-in involves excruciating pain and happens while you're trying to sleep. Number 3, the sudden gravity check. You're drifting off to sleep, hovering in that blissful, fuzzy space between wakefulness and dreamland. Your mind is wandering, your body is relaxing, and then, without warning, you're falling. You feel that gut-lurching, stomach-in-your-throat sensation of plummeting from a great height, and your entire body jolts awake with a violent twitch. Your heart is pounding. You're in your bed, perfectly safe, but for a split second, your brain was convinced you just stepped off a cliff. This is the hypnic jerk. This bizarre event is a battle between 2 different systems in your brain as you fall asleep. As you begin to doze off, your brain's reticular activating system, the part responsible for keeping you alert, starts to hand over control to the ventrolateral preoptic nucleus, which promotes sleep. It's a shift change, but sometimes the handover is a bit clumsy. As your muscles relax and your heart rate and breathing slow down, your awake brain sometimes misinterprets these signals of deep relaxation as a sign of mortal peril. It thinks, wait, why is everything shutting down? Are we dying? Are we falling? In a last-ditch effort to save you from this perceived fall, it sends a massive jolt of electrical energy to your muscles, causing you to jerk awake. It's a neurological false alarm. Your brain's overprotective, slightly paranoid security guard just mistook a sleeping person for a falling one and pulled the fire alarm on your entire body. Number 2, the internal siren. Sit in a perfectly quiet room. Listen closely. What do you hear? For many people, the answer isn't silence. It's a faint, high-pitched ringing, a hum, a hiss, a tone that isn't actually there. This is tinnitus, the sound of silence itself being broken by your own brain. It's a constant personal soundtrack that you can't turn off, and it's one of the strangest alarms your body has. Tinnitus is often a symptom, not a disease. It's usually the result of damage to the tiny, delicate hair cells in your inner ear. These hairs are responsible for converting sound waves into electrical signals that your brain can understand. Over time, things like exposure to loud noises, aging, or even earwax buildup can damage or break these little hairs. When they're damaged, they can start leaking random electrical signals to your brain. Your brain receives these faulty, meaningless signals and does what it does best. It tries to find a pattern. It tries to interpret the static. Unable to match the signals to any real external sound, it just creates a perception of one. That persistent ringing or buzzing. It's called phantom auditory perception. Your brain is essentially hearing the ghost of a sound that isn't there. It's an error message from your audio processing department. A constant reminder that some of your equipment is a little bit frayed. It's not a sound from the outside world. It's the sound of your own brain trying and failing to make sense of broken data. Number 1, the stand-up blackout. You've been sitting on the couch for an hour, deep into a documentary about obscure 16th century basket weaving techniques. You decide it's time for a snack. So you spring up from your seat with newfound purpose. And that's when the world goes dark. Your vision tunnels, your head feels like it's filled with cotton, and you have to grab onto a nearby wall to avoid face planting into the carpet. For a few terrifying seconds, you feel like your consciousness is about to be unplugged. This is orthostatic hypotension. Despite feeling like a critical system failure, this is usually just a brief logistical hiccup in your circulatory system. When you're sitting or lying down, gravity pools some of your blood in your legs and abdomen. It's no big deal, your body is used to it. But when you stand up suddenly, gravity yanks a significant amount of blood downward, away from your brain. This causes a rapid, temporary drop in your blood pressure. Your body has a system for this. Special sensors in your arteries called baroreceptors detect the pressure drop and immediately send an SOS to your brain. Your brain then tells your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to constrict, pushing more blood upward to your head. But this system isn't instantaneous. There's a lag of a few seconds. That dizzy, blackout feeling is the sensation of your brain being briefly starved of oxygen while it waits for the blood pressure cavalry to arrive. It's your body's equivalent of a computer freezing for a moment when you ask it to open too many programs at once. It's not broken, it's just buffering. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.